Okay, hi everyone, my name's Arlene. So for this presentation, we'll be doing a live demonstration of the basics of Excel. As you can see right here, it's just like a basic, there's so many different layouts with Excel. So there's you can make lists, you can budget, you can compare colleges. There's so many things you can do with Excel. But for the purpose of this presentation, we'll be going with a blank workbook. So I'm just gonna double click on that. Okay, so um, as you can see, an Excel spreadsheet is made up of many different cells. So cells are just the little boxes, each of these little boxes here. And you can click on a cell with your mouse to move in any direction. And you can either use your mouse to navigate or keyboards. So with your mouse, you just click on the cells and you can click and drag. You can just click whatever cell you want. But you can also do it with the keyboard by clicking the arrow keys. So if I press the right key, it will go right, left key, it'll go left. Okay, so then with my keyboard, if I wanted to select a series of cells, this is more useful when there's actually stuff in the cells. So I'm just gonna write a couple of things. So with my keyboard, if I wanted to select the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I would just click the shift with the arrow key, and this would select whatever cell I wanted it to. So to select 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I would click shift and then the down key, and this would select the cells. And then you can also enter to move down. So if I'm starting right here, I just press enter and it would take me to downwards, and then you can press shift and enter to move upwards. And then tab will let you go right, and then shift and tab will take you left. So these tab and shift and enter is really useful if one of your arrow keys is broken and you don't really want to use your mouse. And then also you can select rows and columns. So I'm just gonna add a bit more information here. So if I wanted to select the entire column, I would press Control and the space bar, and this would select the entire A column. And then if I wanted to select the entire one row, so this entire row, I would press Shift and space, and this would select the entire row. So this is more useful when you'd like to highlight that information or copy it. So yeah, you can use those commands for that. So now we're gonna go a little bit more into how to format in Excel. So to edit column or row sizes, as you can see, there is a gray border surrounding all of the cells. So clicking and dragging the lines that are between each letter and each number on the side can let you adjust the width of the cells. So say I wanted to make column A a bit wider, I would just drag this and I can make it however large I want. And I can also make it a bit skinnier if I'd like to do that as well. So that's a bit skinnier and that's a bit wider. I can also do this with the 1, 2, 3 rows and stuff. So if I want to make that a bit shorter, I can do that, and I can make it a bit taller as well. Okay, so to merge cells, if I had a bit longer of a title here, I'm just gonna put something random. As you can see, the February expenses overlaps the January expenses. So if I wanted to make the January expenses bigger and more in the middle, I would select those two, and then I would press merge and center, which is found in the home tab, and it's just that option right over there. I would click that, and it's telling me that only the upper left value, which in this case is January expenses, will be kept and February expenses will be discarded. So I'm fine with that. I don't need the February. So I'd click OK. And as you can see, January expenses is now in the center and it's merged in 2 cells. So now entering data. So to enter data, it's very simple. So you just click on whatever cell you'd like. So I want to enter an H8. I can put whatever I'd like in that cell. So ice cream. Yeah. So then you just click enter, and then that will be in the cell now. To enter the same data into multiple cells, I can click and drag over a series of cells, and then I just type whatever I'd like. So I would write ice cream again, and then I can hit Control and enter, and then it will go over the entirety of all the cells that I selected. So if I want to extend a pattern, so as you can see, I had 2, 3, 4, 5 over here. And if I want that to be copied over to many different cells, I would just select the cells that are in the pattern. And then right here in the right corner, there is a little something you can drag. So I just click that and I drag it over wherever I want that information to be copied to. And then I release, and then the pattern will continue. And then to copy data into different cells, I would just select the data that I'd like to get copied. And then for Macs, it's Command C, but I believe for Windows, it's Control C. So I'd press Command C, and then I would just, for wherever I want to put it, I can put it wherever I'd like. I can click that cell and then press Command or Control V, and then your data is pasted. And then we're gonna, you can also do simple math in Excel. So if I'd like to, in this cell, I want to add 2014 plus 26. I can just enter that and it will give me the answer. Also, you can do multiple different operations. So I can multiply 23 times 7. I can divide, I can also subtract. So you're able to do that. And then it's just, you press equals. It tells Excel that you're entering an operation. So that's how you, that's how Excel knows to calculate that. So you just have to enter equals every time. Yeah, so if you always have to press equals before you enter the operation. So I can do whatever I'd like. So if I wanted to multiply, I would still have to enter, put equals there. And then if I wanted to multiply 27 times 8, I would just enter that. But I always have to have the equal sign in front. And then I just press enter and it will do the operation for you. And then to add cell values together. So say I had much more information than 2, 3, 4, 5. I had a lot of data here and I wanted to add that all together. I would just drag over the data that I want to add. And then in the formulas tab right here, there is an option for auto sum, and I just click this and it will give you the answer in the cell directly below that information. So that's very easy if you want to add expenses or anything. It's very convenient and it's right there. And then adding, subtracting, multiplying, or dividing cell values. So if I wanted to divide column A by column B, I can drag over column A and then do the division sign, and then drag over column B and then press enter. I'll do multiplication. Times. Okay, I think it's because it's a series of values. I'll just do this times that, and it should give you the answer. And you can also do that for whatever operation: addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. Okay, yeah, of course. So when you're my keyboard doesn't have the specific signs that you usually use on paper. So for multiplication, you use the asterisk sign, which is over the 8. So that's just, you do 7 asterisk 4 to do 7 times 4. So that gives you 28. And then for division, you use the slash. So that's if I wanted to do 6 divided by 2. So it's representing a fraction. And then addition, it's the same as it usually is. So that's 3 plus 5. And then subtraction is just the dash. So that would be 3. Yeah. So then ordering stuff. So if I had stuff that wasn't necessarily in alphabetical or numerical order, ranging from like lowest to highest, I could go to data, the data tab right here. And then there's, as you can see, there's A to Z and then Z to A. So if I wanted to arrange this data from the lowest to highest, I would do A to Z. And that, as you can see, it changed it from 1 to 8. But if I wanted it to go from 8 to 1 per se, I would click Z to A, and that would change it that way. You can also do this for letters. So if I had A, L, E, I can arrange that in alphabetical order from A to whatever, A to Q. And then I can also do Q to A if I'd like that. And then you can also graph data with Excel. That's one of the main features of Excel. So I'm just gonna enter a bit of information here. I'm just deleting everything right now. Okay. So I can do number of dogs. That's just random. And then food expense. Right now I'm just entering random information. It's whatever you can graph whatever you'd like. So 100. And then 500. So if I'd like to graph this data, I'll just select over everything, including the labels, because that makes the graph a bit more organized, so you can tell which axis describes like what value. So then to create a simple graph, I would just click Alt and F1. And as you can see, it prompted up a basic bar graph right here. Yeah, so then you can customize it however you'd like. So if I'd like to change the type of chart, I don't really like the bar graph, so I would right click and then I would click change chart type. So as you can see, there's so many different options. I can do column, line, pie, hierarchy, statistical, scatter graph, whatever I'd like. So I'm gonna go with a line graph, and then there's more options right here. So I'm gonna go with this type of line graph. So as you can see, it changed it a little bit. And also, you can change the chart style. So as you can see under the chart design tab, there's so many different options. So I don't really like the orange and blue, so I can press change colors. And there's so many different options of colors I could do. So I'm gonna go with this color. This also, the contrast isn't that great, so I'll go with this. And you can also change the chart style by clicking through this option. It just changes the layout of the chart. And now you can also add chart elements. So if I want to add axis titles, I can do primary horizontal. So I can write number of dogs here. And then there's a lot of different things you can add. If I wanted a trend line, whatever you'd like, there's so many different options. And then, yeah, so there's multiple different options in this chart design tab. So now we're gonna go into how to go about adding different sheets to Excel. So as you can see, this right now is called sheet 1. So if I'd like to differentiate between different sheets, I would just right click here. And as you can see, there's an option named rename. And I would just click that. And I can name it whatever I'd like. So I'm gonna go with dog expenses. and press enter, and that changes the name of the sheet. So now when I open a new sheet, so this is just done by clicking the addition button beside the last sheet I made, which is right here, and I just click that, and then it gives it a default name named sheet 2, and that's how you add a sheet. If I'd like to delete a sheet, if I thought this sheet is unnecessary, I don't need it right now, I can just right click on the sheet 2 name, and it will give you the option to delete the sheet. So I would click that, and then that sheet just disappears, it's gone, it's deleted. And yeah, so you can also rename that sheet if you'd like. So rename, delete, yeah. So the options are just found by right clicking, and they're right there. So that's basically the basic features of Excel.
So I just wanted to show this. It's been asked and it is super helpful. So I have an older version, but it's the same deal. So when you're in Excel, you can set up something called macros, which basically records certain activity that you do on Excel, and you can repeat it. So I'll go into it, but to get it, you have to have, sorry, I can't see, the developer tab. And if you don't have it, yeah, so you'll have to go up here to Excel, to preferences, and then to ribbon. It says, in other versions it says ribbon and toolbar, but mine just says ribbon. And then you'll have to click on developer, and then it will show up in your toolbar up here. And in developer, there's this thing called macros. So basically what macros do is, I said, they record certain activities so that you can repeat it easily in future. So say you are creating the same sheet every month for your expenses, but you don't feel like going in to every new sheet and writing down date, item, like cost, whatever. You can record that action and just repeat it every time. So to do that, you'll hit the record button here. This will pop up. You can name your macro. I'll just name it header, expense header. And you can also choose a shortcut key. It can't be something else you use, so you'll have to kind of play with it. If I tried C, I know it won't let me. So I could do Z, and that will work. And then you can also add a description. So if you need more description to know what it is in case you forget, you can do that. And then you just press OK. Yeah, once you press OK on that, it will start recording. You'll see this will now be like a little black button rather than a little red circle. And I can say date here, item, cost, or whatever I want. And then when you're done, you just press that again, and you'll see that that macro is now here. And if I want to run it, I'll open up a new sheet. So if I go into this new sheet and I used Z/Z, I'll press Command Option Z, and it should just pop up there. The one thing I'll say, when you're creating macros, because I made some and then I didn't save the Excel sheet and then they disappeared. So I think that when you create macros, you have to, I think you have to save it to make sure they save. And they might be saved only to a particular worksheet if you don't do that. So those are now there. And you can use that again for anything. You just hit that record button. And you also, if you don't use the shortcut, all you have to do is go into it and press run, and it also runs it. Just got a bit messed up there. So that's macros. It's a super helpful tool. Yeah, and then I'll say, just as a stopper, a lot of these things in here, like we went through layout, it's very similar to everything you would also get in Word. So like orientation, but these things only apply to printing, really, orientation, size, margins. But you'll see it's like SmartArt is there if you want to use it. And review is there as well, but it's not. You can, again, change the permissions or add a password to the document if you want to send it and you don't want someone to be able to open it fully. If there's sensitive information in it, like if you're doing expenses or something on it, or you can, manage basically the privacy of your document.